good morning, and welcome. Welcome to Unity. Welcome to Unity Victoria. I'm going to draw upon the words from Unity of Independence, which is located in Independence, Missouri, for the answer to the question, what is unity? Unity is a positive, practical, progressive approach to Christianity based on the teachings of Jesus and the power of prayer. Unity honors the universal truths in all religions and respects each individual's right to choose a spiritual path. Unity teaches that each person is a unique expression of God, created with sacred worth. Living from that awareness transforms our lives and the world. Unity emphasizes the creative power of thought in our life experience. We refer to this as the law of mind action. When we take personal responsibility to choose life-affirming thoughts, words, and actions, we experience a more fulfilling and abundant life. Unity emphasizes the importance of applying spiritual principles in our daily lives. Unity's teachings continue to evolve as we identify, embrace, and apply spiritual insights and the spiritual implications of new discoveries. My name is Pat Clarkson, and I'll be leading today's service as well as being your Sunday speaker. We are entering Lent, and Reverend Vicki Vanderhorst and I are leading you through Lent in a series entitled Release and Renew, a Spiritual Practice for Lent. So please join us over these next few weeks. As Unity Victoria discusses the option of Unity Vancouver Island, I thought about your chosen values. You know I admire what you chose. I see the value in them, the strength in them, the mightiness in them. These values will provide you a solid foundation as you discuss and make decisions on this option. So let us affirm these 5 values together. Inclusivity, spirit-led, joy-filled, life-transforming, and compassion. For our invocation today, we're going to be taking a prayer from the Baha'i faith. As I've said, we're going to journey through different faiths to draw upon their prayers. Remember, we are an inclusive community. So Baha'i beliefs address such essential themes as the oneness of God and religion, the oneness of humanity and freedom from prejudice, the inherent nobility of the human being, the progressive revelation of religious truth, and the dynamics of the relationships that are bound together, individual, community, and institution, as humanity advances in its collective maturity. As I move into the invocation, let's bring ourselves to stillness. Thy name is my healing, O my God, and remembrance of thee is my remedy. Nearness to thee is my hope, and love for thee is my companion. Thy mercy to me is my healing and my succor in both this world and the world to come. Thou verily art the all-bountiful, the all-knowing, and the all-wise. And so it is. Please join me in singing Divine Energy before we go into the talk.
Let
Today, we are entering into Lent. 40 days plus 6 Sundays make up Lent. And this Lenten season can be, if you choose, a sacred season of reflection and release. In one of my Lenten readings, I heard it described as similar to spring house cleaning. And I love that analogy. Do you seem to, over the winter months, just accumulate stuff? I do. Not a lot of stuff, but I do. It's like I'll deal with it later. You know, there's a saying on prairies in Saskatchewan that over the winter months, people put on 10 pounds, and we just don't even notice it until it's time to put on our shorts and tank tops, and then we sure do. Every winter, I anxiously wait for the first nice day that may say spring is here, and I throw open every window in my house. Every window. It may not be the nicest day out, but to me, it's a beautiful day that spring is coming. Now, I will often put a heavy sweater on or a jacket, but I won't close the windows because I want that fresh air to just clean out the cobwebs and the feeling of being inner encased. But sometimes, when I start to go through my accumulations, I don't know if I want to give it up. You know, there's something there that just maybe I might use it next winter. Just so, let's just store it. And because I've become comfortable with it. Like I have sweaters that I have not worn this winter, but they're going to be packed away because just maybe I'll need it. And sometimes that's like our emotional characteristics that limit us, block us from being all we can be. And I once had a friend, because we were talking about these characteristics and saying like, how come I can't release it? I know how much harm it's doing to me, no one else but me. And my friend said to me, well, I have one of those too. And I call it my wet spaghetti. And she said, whenever I'm feeling sorry for myself, I just bring it out and I throw it against the wall like a wet spaghetti and it sticks. And then I'm perfectly justified in how I'm feeling. And she said, I have a tough time letting go of that wet spaghetti because if I don't have it, what am I going to blame my feeling sorry on? So sometimes it takes great courage to let go of your wet spaghetti or a characteristic that, I got to look inside and see why I still hang on to it. And we're fearful because we aren't sure what we're going to discover when we go inside. What is it that's there that I keep wanting to hang on to this? And I want to share a true story that I was told this weekend. And it's about the young boy I'm going to talk about is now a man, and his name is Doug. And many years ago, he had to walk to school. And in grade 5, he moved to a new school and he had to walk. So he figured out the shortest way to get there. So he's walking to school, and all of a sudden, this big dog roars out to the sidewalk, and it's chained, so it stops dead after charging him. But he was terrified. He said that, what if that dog got off the chain, or what if the homeowner forgot to put him on the chain? So at that moment, he decided he'd never walk down that street again because of that dog, even though it was the shortest way to school. So he'd go around the other block or go the other way. And this went on through grade 5, grade 6, and then grade 7. He said, I thought, look, I'm older now. I shouldn't be afraid of this dog. So he's going to school, grade 7, and he walks down the street, and the dog charges him again. And he gets to the end of his leash at the end of the sidewalk, and dog takes a look at the dog and realizes the dog has no teeth. The dog has no teeth. So when you're wondering and fearful about dealing with a characteristic and what's going to happen and what am I going to discover, please remember this story and say, maybe it has no teeth. Maybe it has no teeth. Lent provides you and I with an opportunity to clear away any characteristic that may be lingering within us, a characteristic that may stop us from fulfilling the fullness of our spiritual life. The purpose of Lent is to mentally prepare us, physically, mentally, spiritually, for a new awakening, to resurrect out of us old states of consciousness into a new realization of life. Lent was established by the early Christian church to prepare our hearts and minds for Easter, for the crucifixion and resurrection of Jesus Christ. Part of that preparation was abstinence from something you cared about. I remember as a child being told I had to give up something I liked. I would be asked, what am I going to give up? Reading, because I love to read. Or my favorite TV show that I watched once a week in black and white. Or chocolate. I do not remember ever getting a valid reason for why I had to give up chocolate. I just didn't. And so, Vicki, last week when you said about you give up something like chocolate, I chuckled because maybe you got a valid reason for why we had to give up something we liked. I had been in Unity for 6 months when I experienced my first Unity Lent. And I was to experience a whole new understanding of Easter. And I was to discover that at Unity, you don't have to give up chocolate. What I was being asked to fast from or release is a characteristic that I did not particularly like within myself. I was being asked to release that characteristic for 40 days. Just not to give it any power for 40 days. It would still come up, but I'd just say, no, I give you no power. And then I was asked to feast on an aspect, feast or renew an aspect of my being that I wanted to have more of. I remember my first year, I very quickly knew what I was going to release, and that was judgment. And I remember that I feasted on joy. And then the second year in Unity, I fasted on judgment. And I can't remember what I feasted on. So, remember, Unity views the Bible from a metaphysical interpretation. Unity sees the Bible as the unfolding of man's consciousness, the story of the unfolding of man's consciousness. Thus, Unity views the crucifixion and resurrection from a very different perspective than mainstream religion. In the revealing word, crucifixion is metaphysically interpreted as crossing out in consciousness the error thoughts that have become fixed states of mind. And I love that. The error thoughts that have become fixed states of mind, I can see them just being stuck in the mud with your rubber boots and you're saying, I really want to let go of this, and they're just hanging on the mud. It is giving up the aspects of ourselves governed by selfish motives. It's dealing with the human thoughts that block us from the truth of our being. I want to share with you words from the book, The 7 Living Words by Reverend Mark Anthony Lord from Unity of Naples, Florida. Remember, each crucifixion is calling us to be more of who we are, fully free, fully powerful, and fully faithful, that we are always supported and sustained by the love of the Holy Spirit, the Spirit of wholeness. Every crucifixion, no matter how difficult or seemingly life-shattering, is simply a desire to follow your dreams at all costs. Our crucifixion is calling us to surrender so that we can remember the truth. That within us is the greatest power of all, a divine being that is eternal and that can never be destroyed or diminished. Now, resurrection is metaphysically interpreted as restoring of mind and body to the original undying state. As a dear friend of mine would say to me, resurrection is remembering who we truly are, remembering our divine nature, remembering our Christ nature. Lent provides an enlightening blueprint for transformation, for letting go of the past and moving forward into our next level of consciousness and expansion. Unity's view of Lent is like what happens in spring. It is a time of rebirth. It's a time for spiritual transformation. We fast or release negative thoughts or behaviors that create a separation from God or from our authentic selves. We realign with Christ consciousness through renewing what is true about us. I want to share with you statements of release and renew. These statements will be woven into our Sunday talks by Reverend Vicky and I. The first statement is, I release any belief in limitation. I renew my sense of possibility. And I'm just going to pause here and talk a little bit about this one, because when I read it, it reminded me of my journey through the spiritual labyrinth at the first Sunday of the New Year. And I shared that after walking that labyrinth, what I was given to release was self-limiting statements. And this said, I release any belief in limitation. And I was to realize mercy. So I am considering doing a major shift in my life again. I don't doubt if that surprises you all. I will always be here when my mom needs me, but my sister has retired. So we are talking about taking turns. My sister's daughter and grandbabies are in the States, in Denver, and Terry will go down and be with them and babysit, which just thrills her because her whole reason for retiring was to be with her kids and her grandbabies. And I will be here to care for Mom, and then when she comes home, I'm going to travel. And I've had a dream since I was in my 30s, and it was that I can see myself in a camper van with a dog, just being free and just traveling. And so I am seriously looking at that. But what I realized, and I've talked a little bit about this, is I thought my self-limiting statements would be the negative statements I give myself about my self-worth. But positive statements can be self-limiting. And here's the example. I have a beautiful, affordable home. Every piece of my artwork has a place to be displayed. I live in a beautiful neighborhood. I can walk to 90% of everything I need. I have a garden I'm growing perennials in. All of that. And I am considering finding some place to store my furniture, getting a camper and a dog, and we're going to go away. And when I'm here, I'm saying to my sister, can I just have a room wherever you are? And just set up a room there. So I was laughing the other day because, Charlene, I finally got furniture when I got to Victoria, and here I am saying I'm going to put it in storage. So like it's just, I go, it's crazy. So there's my self-limiting. But here's a self-limiting thought I got. You should be grateful for what you have. You are so fortunate to find what you have. And I am so grateful every day for this home and where I live. But those thoughts are limiting me for looking at other possibilities. And I loved when Reverend Vicky talked about that exercise of just sitting with possibilities. No limiting thoughts, no, just sitting with possibilities. Because I'm working through this because I am grateful, so grateful. Yet COVID, the death of someone who I really liked at 55, I'm not ready to hang out my shingle yet. I'm not that old. So that's where I'm at, but I'm discovering things about this statement. I release any belief of limitation and what limitation looks like. And I renew my sense of possibility. It doesn't mean I'm going to do it, but I need to release them so I can at least look. So I'm going to continue now with the rest of the release and renew statements. And as I said, these statements, Vicki and I will be choosing some to speak to in our talk. So here we go. I release a habit of judging others. I renew my commitment to see the divine in all beings. I release all doubt and indecision. I renew my divine power of wisdom. As I say these, look at what you're going to release and see how it does impact what you can renew. I release negative thinking. I renew my positive expectations. I release discontent. I renew my gratitude in all things. I release apathy. I renew my zeal and enthusiasm. I release the lack of fear. I renew my awareness of abundance in life. And think of these. Listen to the words you're releasing and the ones you're renewing. Which side of the scale do you want to live on? I release any sense of worry. I renew my faith in divine order. I release thoughts of competition. I renew my willingness to cooperate. I release any need to complain. I renew my outlook through appreciation. I release old feelings of bitterness. I renew inner peace by forgiving. I release feeling stuck. I renew my will to take the next step forward. I release any feelings of hostility. I renew my practice of non-resistance. I release thoughts of illness. I renew my openness to the healing power of spirit. I release anger. I renew my patience. I release any sense of discouragement. I renew my hope with the power of affirmative prayer. I release my darkest fears. I renew the strength and courage of my heart. I release feelings of loneliness. I renew my connection with spirit, self, and others. I release problems that seem to overwhelm me. I renew my understanding of my spiritual nature. I release the shadows of sorrow. I renew myself in the serenity of silence. What I realized with all these renew statements, you don't have to create something new. It was like, I'm saying the word renew, but I realized I don't have to create something new. Renew means we already have that aspect within us. They exist in our very being. You just have to renew them. I cannot think of any positive character that would not be within God's creation. And we are God's creation. Think of what we are asking ourselves to renew. Here are some examples: courage, hope, wisdom, faith. As Unity's second principle states, I am naturally good because God's divinity is in me and everyone. We are all good. Whatever you want to renew is already there. You don't have to find it. You don't have to create it. You just have to dust it off and allow the light to shine on it. The releasing is the releasing of human aspects. Think of these release words that I said: discontent, judging, loneliness, discouragement. These all come from our human nature. How many of you have perennials planted in your yard? Or how many of you, and I know a couple of you, have been out to the Bouchard Gardens already to see their beautiful flowers that are up? For your perennials in your yard or the Bouchard Garden spring tulips to grow, the soil needed to be swept clear of any leaves that may have fallen on it, any mulch that may have been put around the plants. That is what we are releasing, is that which stops us from reaching our full blossoming. You know, once the soil is cleared and then the soil loosened, the renewal of the perennial blossoms forth. Over this Lenten season, I invite you to do a spring cleaning. Let us release that which has gathered cobwebs. Let us throw open the windows of our mind and dust out the error thoughts. Let us renew what needs to be renewed within our soul. I look forward to this season of Lent and this journey that we are on together. And so it is. We're now going to sing our pre-meditation song, Gentle Spirit, and then move into our meditation.
Gentle Spirit, flow in me. Gentle Spirit, grow in me. Gentle Spirit, show in me. Gentle Spirit, know me. Gentle Spirit, flow in me. Gentle Spirit, grow in me. Gentle Spirit, show in me. Gentle Spirit, know me. Gentle Spirit, flow in me. Gentle Spirit, grow in me. Gentle Spirit, show in me. Gentle Spirit, know me. Gentle Spirit, flow in me. Gentle Spirit, grow in me. Gentle Spirit, show in me. Gentle Spirit, know me.
Let us take a deep breath in and slowly exhale. Let us take another deep breath in and exhale. Follow your breath as it moves in and out. Notice as your body begins to relax. Allow yourself to move gently into the stillness. May these words resonate as your own. The light of divine wisdom is my moment-by-moment compass, a light by which I see the way ahead. Even when I do not perceive it, I walk in expectant faith, for I trust that with each step, the light of wisdom is my guide. I focus on the light. Never am I without a sense of direction, for everywhere I am, God is. In the silence, I seek that which I am to release. In the silence, I seek that which I am to renew. Easily, I breathe, trusting in every ordered step forward. By the perceiving power of faith, I never have to submit to worry. Instead, I perceive the underlying and pervasive presence of God, of good, as I take my next steps forward. I walk by faith. And so it is. Please remember the power of prayer, and please remember that your prayer chaplains are there for you. Just reach out. A reminder to check out your weekly Unity Victoria e-bulletin for all the relevant information and connections. I want to take this moment to thank the creator of the weekly e-bulletin, Anna. I really enjoy the e-bulletin. I enjoy the creativity, the way the information is presented, what's in it. So Anna, thank you for sharing your gift, your creative gifts with Unity Victoria. In the e-bulletin, you will see all the many ways you can financially support Unity Victoria. In gratitude for the financial resources that abundantly flow in to Unity Victoria, please join me in affirming Unity Victoria's prosperity blessing. I am an ever-expanding expression of divine abundance. I firmly establish myself in the flow of giving and receiving. I am blessed, and I am a blessing. Please remember to join Fellowship. You can find the connection in your weekly e-bulletin. I will be there today and would love to see you. I want to thank you for the energy of your presence. I may not be in your physical space, but in my mind's eye, I see you, and I feel your energy and the sacredness of each one of you. So blessings on your week. We're now going to close the service by affirming Unity Victoria's blessing, the prayer for protection, and the peace song. So please join me in the blessing. Unity Victoria spiritual community is abundantly blessed. Creative people are drawn to us. Divine ideas flow through us. Financial resources bless us, and we accomplish mighty works together. The prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Now, let us sing the peace song.
And let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, family are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow.